everybody. It's Thursday night. This is Political Hot Seat. This is a live call-in show at 727-8750. And if you wish to ask the candidate any questions, it's up to you to ask them because I won't do it. So when you approach me through the week and ask me why I didn't ask this or that, it means that you were watching the show, but you didn't bother to call in. It's up to you to ask the questions, not me. And yes, I do vote all the time, and I hope you all register to vote. I hope you all get out and vote. And early voting starts Saturday. I'm sure our candidate will remind everybody of that. And I just want to remind everybody, for the people who ask me at work and whenever they run across me, I am voting no on statewide ballot questions 1, 2, and 3. Each and every one of them has an increase in taxes. And I know how to solve that problem from it coming up, but they'll never do it. But anyway, I'm here with the candidate for 5th District Commissioner, and is Mr. Rick Osborne. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Bill.
I got a question to start with, is why do you want to be a commissioner?
Well, of course, my background has been in local government for 40 years, and I did serve as the county manager here from 2008 until January of 2012. So I kind of got to know the community firsthand pretty intimately in that capacity. And I always thought that at the end of my time as a manager, I would like to step in and, if I can get elected, serve the community as a commissioner. I think my background lends itself to that. As I said, I've got 40 years of experience, and I'm sure I will bore you with a little more detail about that as we go along tonight. But I've got a variety of experiences in a lot of different areas.
And you are an independent.
I am.
You're running as the independent in the 5th District. Remember, folks, if you don't vote early up at the county building, the 5th District needs to go to what used to be the 9th grade academy down there at the high school. And that's where you'll go vote. So don't be driving over town to every school there is trying to find where you go, because San Marino told me that it's going to be at the 9th grade academy. And but you can vote early starting this Saturday, right?
That's correct. It starts on the 18th.
You going to be there?
You betcha.
Okay, yeah, that ought to be line to go out the door and around the building. I normally wait until the middle of the next week.
Until the line gets a little shorter?
Yeah, to where I can walk in the back door and just kind of sneak in.
Yeah, well, I might do that same thing if it's a really long line, but I don't know. I'll make that decision Saturday.
All right, some of what you're campaigning on and why.
All right, well, I'll start with my background, and I'm from Ohio. Born and raised. I served in the United States Army Reserve from 1967 through 71. Subsequently joined a police department there and served 25 years in law enforcement in every capacity. I was fortunate enough to have experience as a detective, patrol officer, a uniformed sergeant, a detective sergeant, lieutenant, and I ended up operations commander, which was second in command of the department, second only to the chief. And I also got involved with accreditation during that time. We had the first police department in Summit County, Ohio, to become accredited in that county. And I'm proud to say that I was the accreditation manager for the department then, and took it through the hoops that you have to go through to get that. I also served as an assessor for the Commission for Accreditation of Law Enforcement Officers, which is the accrediting body for law enforcement nationally. Well, I should say internationally, because there are some agencies international now. So after that, I retired from law enforcement and ran for a treasurer's position. It was an elected position, and got elected. And in that capacity, I was responsible for maintaining the portfolio of the city, which was about a $30 million portfolio at the time. And in addition to that, back in Ohio, we had that evil thing called income taxes that we don't have, thankfully, out here. But I was also the income tax administrator, so I collected the income tax from the citizens within the city of Talmadge. After that, the mayor asked me if I would be his director of administration. And I agreed to that. That's a position that's similar to a city manager. So I did that for 7 years. Then I was noticed that Nye County, Nevada was looking for a county manager. And so when I considered applying for that, I did my research on Nye County to find out what kind of relationship they had had historically with their county managers and so forth. And it wasn't good, but they didn't last too long out here.
No.
But I decided to go ahead and give it a try anyway, and so I applied, and through the vetting process, I think there were 28 that applied, as I recall. The field was narrowed to 4 that they were going to do personal interviews with. So I came out here along with the other 3 people and went through the vetting process with the Board of County Commissioners. And at the conclusion, they decided that I was the one they wanted and selected me for the position. And I went ahead and took the job and started in August of 2008 and served until January of 2012. I should also say that while I was in Ohio, I operated 3 small businesses on the side. So I have some private sector experience too, which is kind of unusual. I operated a beer and wine store. I had a bakery. While I was a cop, I had a donut shop, believe that.
Oh, of course.
So then my son and I put together a company for a little construction company because that was his skill set. And we rehabbed homes. We'd buy them that were in need of repair, go in, fix them up, and then sell them again. So we did that for a while. So I've done a little bit of everything, have a very broad experience base.
Well, of course, you know, being law enforcement, you had to have the donut shop.
Well, I felt I did.
Yeah, well, I lived back in the northern Midwest, and every donut shop was always full when there was a snowstorm. But it was
Well, that's true. That's true.
But okay, I got a question. You got all that law enforcement background in that. Gee, you must have been the only person in Pahrump didn't run for sheriff.
I may have been.
I was going to say, it seemed like everybody else I knew ran for sheriff.
Yeah, I think we had, 8 or 9, something like that.
Oh, yeah. It seemed like every week I had somebody on for sheriff, you know. Mm-hmm. And, they came from other states and everything. But anyway, you're running as an independent, which is a hard, you know, to begin with. I mean,
Sure.
You know. And then you said you were a tax
administrator for the city.
For the city. Now, was that like a city tax or a state income tax?
All right, well, there was all the above. In Ohio, you had state income tax, and then the cities had city income tax. So I was the administrator for the city income tax. The state collected theirs. I didn't touch theirs.
But how did you collect it? I mean,
people voluntarily comply. I mean, you know, when they know it's a tax, because you know, if you, as the administrator, found out that someone wasn't paying tax and they were in violation of the law, then you know, that was my responsibility to ensure that they did pay it.
Okay, well, it didn't come out of the paycheck then.
No, it does. I mean,
it does.
Yeah, if they're employed somewhere,
Wow.
it is a payroll deduction. And then they forward it to the city, and then I, as treasurer, would accept it in and put it in the books.
We're just very fortunate out here in Nevada. We don't have those things.
I agree with you completely.
Yeah, I lived in Illinois for a short time, and they had what they call a personal excise tax. Mm-hmm. And a guy would knock on your door and ask you how many bedrooms you got and how much furniture you got, and I said, well, I pay taxes on it when I bought it. Well, yeah, but we tax it as an excise tax that you got a TV and 3 bedrooms and all
Well,
that. And,
that's unfortunate. We didn't have that in Ohio, and
well, Illinois is a good
Yeah.
state to be from.
yeah,
To be from, yes. I mean, the weather's terrible. The taxes, they just tax everything, But anyway, you're running as an independent. Your feelings on taxes, like here you become a county commissioner, law enforcement needs a budget, and it seems like, every other week I hear about how they're gone over their budget or they didn't make it or something like that. And I'm very anti-tax, but I do believe in things like the military, law enforcement, and that's what the taxes should be used for. It shouldn't be split between,
Well-
I work for it and they give it to somebody else.
I understand what you're saying. Public safety is my highest priority. I mean, that's why we have government in the first place, is to protect the people, and that's how I gear everything that I do. I would like to just say a few more things about my background.
You go right ahead.
Because I'll tell you why I wanted to say that at each one of these candidates' nights, but they limit you to like 2 or 3 minutes. I can hardly say hello in that amount of time.
Well, we got an hour.
So that's good. So I did want to let people know that I am a graduate of Malone College, and I had a Bachelor of Arts degree in management. Again, that lends itself to what we're talking about here in government. I'm a graduate of Northwestern University Traffic Institute. I also graduated from a police executive leadership college in Ohio, which was for executive level police officers. So again, I have over 40 years of experience. I'm the former county manager here, director of administration in Ohio, treasurer and law enforcement officer, and as I said a minute ago, I operated several small businesses, so I've got that private sector experience, and I think that's beneficial to learn how government can sometimes complicate the lives of the small business owner. And in fact, while I was county manager, one of the things I implemented that I don't think they're doing anymore was in economic development. My position was always, let's try to attract new business here. I'm all about that, but let's not forget those that are already here. Let's go to those businesses and ask them just a couple of simple questions. Are we, as the government, doing anything that's complicating your life, that's making it harder for you to run your business? And are there things that we can do to help you? And if yes, what are those? We just need to ask a few questions in order to start soliciting that information from the business people that are already here. And I'm all about bringing new business, but let's try and take care of the ones that are here.
All right, well, we'll come back to that as soon as we do these commercials, and we will be right back.